Use of the tail gauge as prescribed in this video will ensure optimal IDs on your laboratory mice. Relying on the age or weight of a mouse to determine the appropriate needle size or restraint cartridge will not guarantee a quality tattoo. This is a lab stamp tail gauge. It is used to determine the appropriate restraint cartridge and needle cartridge combination that is to be used for each mouse. The proper use of this tool will ensure that the best quality and most durable tattoo is produced. The tail gauge is comprised of 5 slots of increasing widths. 2 slots fall within a red-colored zone and 2 fall within a blue-colored zone. These colored zones correspond to the red and blue shrink bands on the handles of the small and large restraint cartridges, respectively. Above 4 of the slots are yellow and green colored dots. These colored dots correspond to the yellow and green colored needles the user selects for each tattoo. The 5th slot on the far left of the tail gauge has the international circle / symbol above it. It identifies mice that are too small to be used in the lab stamp system at this time. In practice, it is important to measure from the smallest slot on the left to the largest slot on the right until you find the appropriate fit. The appropriate slot on the tail gauge should drop under its own weight over the tail. A snug fit is permissible, but do not force the gauge over the tail. When measuring, the tail gauge should be positioned as close as practical to the tail grippers, that is, where the tail exits the red dome. It is also important that the tail gauge be held vertically and square with respect to the tail. Once the size of the mouse tail is determined, choose the correct restraint size and needle color. In some cases, you may need to change the mouse to the other restraint than what you first selected to measure the tail. Anytime a mouse is placed or repositioned either on the same restraint or on a different restraint, it is important to use the tail gauge to confirm the appropriate combination of restraint and needle cartridge. If the tail is too large for any of the slots, the animal is too large to be tattooed.